You are now live.
Sunday fun day. Guys, is it gravy or is it sauce? I don't know. I call it gravy, right? You call it sauce? You go to your friend's house, they're making some gravy, gotta make the gravy. Hey, where's the sauce? It's whatever you want it to be. In my world, I call it gravy. And then I also call it tomato sauce if I'm working with pizza. So is it gravy or is it sauce? Happy Sunday, everybody. So today was a little bit of a creative day. I woke up this morning and the sun came out, still waiting for that warmth, but the sun came out and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm gonna get creative today. So I went to the supermarket and I stood in line, 6 feet apart from everyone else, and I bought some flowers and I thought, let me arrange some flowers today because flowers make me happy. Went out and did some gardening with my mask on, trimmed the hedges, did things like that, you know, touched nature today. But it led me to believe that, you know, recipes are what you make them, right? And I have an Italian classic. My gravy is a very simple recipe. It consists of onion, garlic, chili flake, a little bit of pork sausage or pork skin or different types of little cuts of meat, whatever I decide to put in. San Marzano tomatoes, I use plum tomatoes with the skin off. And that's my sauce. I let it simmer with a couple of bay leaves, deglaze it with some wine after I cook out the onions and the garlic, and I'm good to go. But I wanted to talk to you about meatballs. And you guys have seen me make meatballs before. We did it on Watch What's Cooking. Caroline did hers, I did mine. The one I did for Watch What's Cooking was the classic. So today I thought, you know what? I have never strayed from the classic. I'm not the guy who puts raisins and all kinds of crazy stuff in meatballs, but today I thought, you know what? Maybe because I've been locked in my house for the past 10 years, I thought I'm gonna go a little crazy today. I'm gonna experiment with a meatball. Why not? Let's go nuts. So I've got 2 pounds of ground beef right here. And then I had a couple of sausages from the market. Those are 2 Italian sausages, not spicy, that I just took the skin off. So it's 2 pounds of beef. And then a little bit of sausage, 2 links of sausage. I have never done this before. This is a whole new recipe. Normally I use veal in 3 even parts. Today I went, you know what? This is what I got. I'm gonna make it my own. That's the beauty of cooking. So if you guys have leftover ingredients around like I did today, I had little bits of things around and I thought, let me chop those up and let's see if they work in the recipe. I'm a chef and I have a palate that thinks about all these flavors, and then I thought, let's try to put them in a meatball. So to that, I'm gonna try to measure things out. So if you guys are gonna ask me for the recipe, you're not allowed because I don't even know the recipe. Okay, so you're gonna have to write this down as we go along. So far, 2 pounds of ground beef, 2 sausage links with the skin off, boom, in the bowl. After that, I know I have some of my ingredients around that I love to put in meatballs anyway. So I've got a half of a small onion. Let's see what this measures out to be. That's a half. 3/4 cup of chopped onion. Write that down, someone. I never write recipes down. It's just I cook with my mind. And believe me, it's crazy. So this is, I know these are 6 cloves of garlic that I have chopped up. I'm gonna throw them in there. Somebody better write this down and send it to me. All right, next, I'm gonna put in, let's see, about 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs. I may add more, keep that note. I'm gonna add in about a half a cup of Parmigiano Reggiano. A little more than half a cup, why not? Then I'm gonna add in, because I'm going crazy, I had some rosemary on my deck, so this is like, I would say 3 tablespoons of rosemary. Never put that in a meatball before. I also had some sour cream. Now normally I might put milk in my meatballs, but I saw some sour cream. Never did it before. I've used mascarpone before. That worked. But I thought, why not add a little sour cream? So that's about, I would say that was a quarter cup of sour cream. What else did I see? Some eggs. 3 eggs. We're creating. Oh, what's here? Some Kalamata olives? All right. Why not, right? Let's say there's 2 tablespoons of chopped Kalamata olives. I also had the last of my roasted peppers that I roasted on my range. This is about another 2 tablespoons of roasted red peppers. Throwing that in. Never made this before. Hope someone's keeping track, because I'm not. Then, believe it or not, I thought, apricots? I've heard people throwing raisins in there before. Let me throw in some chopped apricots for a little bit of sweetness. They're a little bit like gummy bears, and I thought, oh, that could be interesting in the bite with the rosemary and the Kalamata olives. So, there's no reason why not, right? Here we go. So that's about a nice heaping tablespoon of apricots. I also had, and I thought about the texture again, and I'm like, all right, maybe I do want to feel a little crunch in my meatball. Never did that before. And I thought, well, I've got these toasted pecans, so I'm going to add about, I would say that's about, I don't know, that looked like about a quarter cup. And then I'm going to season it with salt. So here's some kosher salt. Now I pinch with all my fingers, and I do 1, 2, 3. But I'm also thinking about those Kalamata olives, and I know they're salty, so I'm not going to go nuts with my traditional salting method. I'm thinking, Kalamata olives are salty. I'm also thinking about all the other ingredients that are in the recipe right now. I'm thinking about the crunch, I'm thinking about the roast, I'm thinking about the rosemary, I'm thinking about the cheese. I'm thinking about a lot of things right now to say, how in my mind would that make sense, right? So hopefully it will. And then I've got some black pepper. That's about a teaspoon of white pepper. You want to use black? Go for it. And then I always like to add a little bit of spice, so I'm going to add in a little bit of chili flake. Just a pinch, because I feel like at the last second, I didn't think about it before, at the last second, I thought to myself, that's going to be great. I'm going to wash my hands. Are we thinking about this recipe? Because I am. And then now I'm going to look for texture, right? So I know when I'm making meatballs, I use my hands. And I'm going to mash this all around. Some of you out there are probably thinking, I don't know if you're thinking this is gross. I don't know if you're thinking, wow, this is really interesting. I'm just thinking I had the ingredients. I'm going to experiment, as most good chefs will. And I'm just going to create something with you guys, because you know what? We got time on our hands, and it's Sunday, and why not? So I am going to create this new kind of meatball that I've never done before, and I'm pretty sure no one else has done that combination before in the world, but who knows? You never know. And if I'm not, then, you know, I'm not the first one to do this crazy thing. That's all that says.
Someone was adding that they do this with meatloaf.
Now this could be an amazing meatloaf, friend, whoever said that. Now if you want to take this in a meatloaf direction, let's do it. You know, I probably would have added a little bit more water maybe, or egg, something to, or more breadcrumb to really make it more, you know, meatloaf textural. So probably I would have added a little bit more breadcrumb to that for meatloaf, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with making this meatloaf right now. But I'm gonna keep it for my meatballs. Now kids, I gotta tell you, this feels really good by my hand, as far as like, you know, but all meat is different. All breadcrumbs are different. Nothing's really the same when it comes to ingredients, really. So things change. So I like to have a texture where if I grab a meatball like this and I roll it, nothing sticks to my hands. And I normally would add some water at this point, but I have a feeling that the sour cream that I added to that made it like, gave it a really nice coating of like fat almost. and I don't think I need the water. So I'm gonna start forming these meatballs. Now, typically, you don't eat raw meat. I'm not saying you should. Don't follow my directions, but I typically would taste the meatballs at this point. But I'm pretty sure by my hand, the amount of salt that I put in that is gonna be just right with the Kalamata olives. So I will roll these meatballs. If anybody has any questions while I roll a few. Comments? How you guys doing?
How is everybody doing out there?
Do you like my lemon shirt?
I bet a little lemon rind in that would have been nice too. Could it? No.
Why not?
Why not? With the
You're
lemon
the chef.
shirt.
You're the
Well, no,
chef.
with the lemon shirt. As inspiration.
The lemon shirt was the inspiration for that comment. I like that. All right, so we've got our meatballs going.
People do love the shirt.
Thanks, guys. So the meatballs are looking real interesting to me. Real interesting.
And they love the apron.
Rich made the apron. We killed it. We killed it on the sales. We sold 2. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And also a question about, could you pair these meatballs with marinara?
I'm going to. I'm going to show you what I've done. I'm really looking forward to the way the rosemary, the Kalamata olive, and the apricot communicate with one another. You know, I'm really curious.
Somebody asked about the weather out there today. It was sunny today.
So there you go. Rich is killing it with the weather report.
How did you get the skin off the tomatoes? Off the tomatoes, yeah. In the sauce? Clarification. I am reading this correctly.
Okay, so we're gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna keep moving forward. And I'm gonna fry one of these meatballs. Guys, is this going well? Are we enjoying ourselves?
Yeah.
We are?
We are getting lots of love.
Okay, I hope so.
California is 92. Sorry, guys. That's what somebody reported.
So, you wanna come over here? Let's look and see what these meatballs are gonna do, shall we? So on a nice medium to high heat, I'm gonna start frying some of these meatballs. Question, could you bake them? Yep. There's your answer. I am a meatball fryer. It's just the way I do it. So over here on the right, I've got my gravy, guys, gravy. So this is about 3 Italian sausages that I browned with 1 medium onion, about 8 cloves of garlic because I like it garlicky, a bay leaf, garlic, onion, chili flake, a pinch of chili flake, olive oil. I brown all that up before I add my tomatoes, get the skin of the sausage nice and brown, and then I deglaze it with some white wine. Any kind of white wine. Today I used Pinot Grigio. Why? Why not? It was there. So I added that 2 cans, just regular cans of peeled San Marzano tomatoes. They were whole but peeled. I didn't even have to break them up. They broke themselves up. And I simmered it on my range for a good 2 hours so far with the lid on. Every now and then going around and stirring it. That's all it really is. Now you don't have to add meat to that. You can keep it vegetarian. You can just add, not add meat, and then you can add other things to it if you wanted to make it a little bit more. I had some zucchini in my refrigerator, and I thought, wouldn't that be nice to saute the zucchini, the onions, the garlic, and brown the zucchini, and then throw in the tomatoes, and then let the zucchini break up in the sauce instead of having it be chunky. It would have cooked through from the start, and I thought, that might be nice. That's what chefs do, right? They create things like that. So I am going to be making, I don't know if I'm going to do stuffed shells, or I might make some fresh pasta. I'm out of rigatoni, which is my favorite with Sunday gravy. But I might make, I've got shells. I've got some sheets of lasagna. I might make a lasagna. So that's that with that. Here we go with cooking the meatballs. Normally,
Make an amazing meatball sandwich with sourdough bread.
What did you say?
I said it.
See, this is what happens in our house, guys. We sit here talking about food, and then before you know it, he just mentioned. So I baked this sourdough, right, yesterday, and it really came out so good. I think I have some. Oh God, you guys saw it on my Instagram. I don't have to brag, but it's so good. We ate a whole loaf of sourdough yesterday.
In less than 20 hours.
Yeah, I mean I seem to think that the sourdough is actually, because it's all organic and I use all that really great flour, I'm not getting bloated or anything. I feel like the sourdough is like my jam. Normally if I was eating like regular bread, I don't know why I feel really bloated, but maybe it's magic. Maybe it's just sourdough. I don't know. So right now, the first thing I'm looking at on these meatballs is the color. There's a lot of color coming through on the meatballs. I'm noticing some red pepper, which is cute. I've got some like Kalamata olive right there, and I'm loving the look of that already. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, chef, what else would you serve that with? And right away, I start thinking about like cheeses. So I'm starting to think about ricotta cheese. Like I would love a beautiful fresh pile of ricotta with some Parmesan inside of it and maybe a little salt and pepper, and then maybe eat that side by side with a meatball, because I'm feeling the flavors would go really well with a soft cheese like a burrata as well. Maybe a great burrata salad. Oh, that would be nice. This is what happens. I start going crazy when I start thinking about food. So anyhow, I'm really curious as this is cooking, how it's going to taste. I feel like I'm on the right track with something different and unique, but I also want to think about different kinds of dishes. It's just crazy where my mind will go with like all of these flavors. What would be delicious with it? I'm almost thinking like I make this bechamel radicchio leek lasagna. So it's a lasagna made with a cream sauce, like an Alfredo, if you will. And I make this like white lasagna. So I'm thinking like that would be super delicious with one of these. Don't you guys agree? I'm also thinking about if I were to take these meatballs and make like a Swedish meatball with them and then make a gravy, how delicious would that be with egg noodles? I'm watching Rich's reaction. He thought it was a good idea.
I love egg noodles.
So I'm hoping you guys thought it was a good idea. I got a little guy in here that I'm going to try. And then what I like to do is when I'm making meatballs, half of them make the pot with the gravy in it, and half of them kind of don't. So at this point, if you wanted to pull a few of them aside and get some like shredded mozzarella cheese and some French bread or some sourdough, and then you wanted to make a sandwich with that, it's so delicious. The same way with sauteed escarole on a toasted sourdough or a toasted French loaf with some burrata cheese, the meatballs, so good. I'm going to try one of these soon. And then the other half, like I said, gets put into the pot of sauce over here. Oh, I said sauce. See what happened? You guys made me say sauce. And I'm going to take them. These are nice and browned on the outside. I'm going to take them, and I know they're not fully cooked, but I'm going to put them in my tomato sauce to cook the rest of the way. I also like, some people would strain them, but I kind of like the oil, and then if it's too much, I'll strain it off. But I kind of like the oil in the sauce. How's the house smell, Rich?
Delicious. Nice little formation.
Oh, what? Design? Me? Okay. So, here we go. I'm going to put these guys to rest for a little while, and I'm going to crank up the simmer on my range and let it simmer and let those meatballs get really soft and tender. That's what will happen to the meatballs, by the way, guys. When you put them into your gravy, said it. And you cook them for a while, like an hour or so or more than that, simmer them, they'll start to stew and they'll become soft. So if they come right out of the fry, they'll be a little bit more firm, a little bit more like a burger, if you will. When you put them into the sauce, they stew and they get soft. So there's a big difference between a fried meatball right from the pot, and then a meatball that comes out of your sauce or gravy later. So as I was saying, this meatball just came out of the fry pan. It's thoroughly cooked, amazing, thank you Viking Range. And it's inside, it's got this little bits of color and golden brown on the outside, but it's firm. If I put this into the sauce, like I said before, it will stew. So this is really hot. Don't try this at home, but I have a chef mouth. Whoa.
I have a sous chef mouth.
It's hot.
That was funny.
It's funny.
I mean, that was
Yeah,
funny.
it's funny. He said he had sous chef mouth. Okay. New flavor, compound, new idea in my mouth. I know that then when these are stewed, they'll be amazing. They're good now, but I'm getting the crunch of the nut inside of it. I'm getting the rosemary and the... It's really good. It's really different, but really good. Really super good, actually. Super good. And when they're stewed in the tomato sauce, they'll be even better. I know for sure. Here, Rich, try this. Here, you at home, try this. Can you guys like that? Hold. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a rosemary. I can't. Okay.
It's
so
it's like a real good meatball meatloaf combo surprise.
Okay, you heard it here first, kids. So this is what we do here at home in our shutdown. We are constantly trying new foods and flavors. I have to tell you that if you wrote down this recipe, can you please send it to me? Because I don't know. I'm sure I can make it again. Really, 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 really good. Very proud of myself. Honestly, I'd be the first one to tell myself that it sucked, but it didn't suck. It was really good. So those of you that are watching, thank you for tuning in on this Sunday Fun Day. Again, we are in this together, and we are supporting each other. We're supporting restaurants and doing takeout, I hope, and also cooking at home. If you want to redo your kitchen, or you need any advice on design, or even kitchen appliances, I'm the guy to call. There will be a number soon published that I'm going to share with you guys in that event. You need to talk about that. I just want to say thanks for all of your support, you know what I mean, and thank you for chiming in with questions from time to time. I know I can't say hello to every one of you that wave. I rewatch these things and I see so many people saying hello. I just want to say hello back and remind you guys that this too shall pass. And happy Sunday. Peace out. I hope you're eating something delicious or saying something delicious to someone delicious. Gotta go. Have a good Sunday.